Well, hello again, and welcome to Questions and Answers with Seumas. I'm answering a question today about my courses, in particular, my Greek courses. The question comes from Nathan, and it is, what level do students get to by the end of all the courses in terms of speaking and reading proficiency? It's a great question. It's very difficult to answer. But I hope that the answer that I give will be helpful in giving you a sense of what's possible and what's realistic. Firstly, I take it that you mean kind of Greek 101 through to 106, which is kind of the core foundational series of 6 courses that I offer that work through Athenads there in particular. That course takes you through a full 2 textbooks, which are normally taught. If you're in a college setting, you would normally work through those 2 textbooks and maybe a little bit extra at the end over 2 semesters. So the first year kind of grammar foundations of ancient Greek. And in a high school setting, you might take 3 or 4 years. I do it typically over a year and a half, because I only teach the series of 6 courses and four in a year. Partly because of my student base, partly because students don't have the time, at least the ones who are coming to me, don't necessarily have the time to be enrolled in full-time study. I don't have the time to teach them all the time online. So that's part of the dynamic going on there. The second thing to say is that obviously I'm trying to do something different. That is, I'm trying to have as much spoken Greek in the classroom as possible. Even though that course is designed to run with a textbook and the focus is on the text in front of us, I'm still trying to twist the text towards a more active mode of engagement. And so because I'm doing that kind of work, the focus in class is understanding the text and talking about the text, or using the text as a jumping point to talk about different things. And so we do a lot of question and answer. That's the kind of foundational what's going on in my classes. When it's text-based, it's question and answer at various levels. And so as you go up in levels, you'll find that the questions can become more complex as questions go. The other thing to say is, it's very difficult to control, and I'm not trying to control, to be honest. I'm not running an experiment. It's difficult to control what students are doing outside class. So I have some students who, they're just doing the class. They're doing a little bit of work outside the class, not very much. I have other students who are full-time students in Greek or Latin on their own time at institutions, and they're doing this class or these classes because they want that specific Greek input. The other thing that's difficult to control is there are a number of students, of course, who come to me because they've done Greek in the past, and sometimes quite a lot of Greek, but they want to start speaking. So they have a reading background, they have a grammatical background, and they don't have an active background. They don't have a practice of speaking and hearing Greek. And so all those factors mean that wherever someone starts and wherever they end is different. Now, that said, the question everyone wants to know is, if I come and do your courses, will I leave with an ability to read Greek fluently? I don't promise that. If you see my advertising, if you see my slogan, you don't leave any worse than you came in. I don't promise that because I don't want you to go away with the false sense that if I do these 6 courses, or if I do this sequence, I will 100% come out fluently speaking and reading ancient Greek. That's unrealistic. Now let me tell you why it's unrealistic. If you look at the kind of research and the kind of statistics and the kind of standards for other languages, especially for modern languages, and if you're familiar with the Common European Framework reference for languages, the CEFR, and A1, AB, so A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, and I would talk about C1 as a proficient user, fluent maybe. That term's a bit difficult to use. B1 and B2 as kind of competent users, and A1 and A2 are really kind of beginner users. And if you look at the hours not just of effort, but the hours of instructor-led or instructor-directed learning, for most European languages, after 50 hours of instructor-led instruction, you're at A1. You're past 0 and you're at A1. Now, if you do a course with me, it's typically 10 1-hour slots. So after 5 of my courses, you've done 50 hours of instructor-led instruction. And so it's perfectly reasonable to expect that you're still a novice at speaking. Now, that's not quite true, or at least it is true that most of the people who get to A1, most of the people who get through 5 of my courses are definitely A1. I would say they are capable of holding a basic conversation in ancient Greek, talking about various range of topics and discussing texts, because that's what they've done in class. They're not B2. People who have started from 0, they don't come out B2, and I wouldn't expect them to. That said, if you've done 5-6 classes with me, you've got all the way through Adonanze, your reading ability is actually much higher and your knowledge of grammar is much higher, even though I'm not trying to teach a lot of explicit grammar, but I am expecting you to kind of cover it in some other ways. So your reading ability is much higher and your ability to pick up texts is quite good. And if you listen to the videos with our students, some of them have worked from 0 with me. There are some students that I've taken through from 0 all the way to the end of Athanadze, and they've gone on to read other Greek texts, ancient authors, not with fluency, not with I can pick it up and read it and I know all the words, but certainly with a degree of comparable ease. They're capable of doing it, and they have the tools to figure out what they don't know. That is, I don't know this word, I don't know this structure, I can go find it out. But also they have a feel for the language. So, will 60 hours of director-led instruction get you to fluency? No. Will it put you on a path to proficiency? Yes. And it will move you steadily along that path. And when you come out after 6 courses, you'll be feeling well equipped to talk about texts, well equipped to understand discussion about texts in Greek, and having the tools to keep going on the path to proficiency, however long that will take. In my view, the learning of any language is actually the learning of a lifetime. Even our native language, we are still learning our native languages. Ancient Greek, it's a long path, but it's a rewarding path, and you can be competent and proficient at the level that you're at, and that level can keep increasing. So this is part of the reason I don't promise too much. I don't want to oversell you. I don't want to undersell you. I'm very proud of what we're doing here at Seumas with my courses. I'm very proud of the work my students are putting in and how each and every one of them is developing in their Greek and in their Latin. And I'm a true believer in speaking ancient Greek as a means to become a fluent reader. But don't expect that 50 hours will turn you into Demosthenes. That's not going to happen for anyone. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for hearing and listening and watching. And I hope to see you in classes, or not in classes, just around the internet enjoying the world of spoken ancient Greek.